I tell you, talk about multitasking. I think all of us are doing this at the moment. So I'm trying to jump on every blooming platform, and I want to give Divine Feminines an update because I don't have the cards in front of me, but of course, those of you that have been connected to my channel with my messy card, I'm a psychic medium as well as a twin flame coach. Whom is in union, regardless of that, because things change all the time spiritually. We're always growing, so we always need to be in duality. There has been a few synchronistic messages coming through in the personal readings and major themes coming up. Hi, Giggle. And, you know, when I do have time, which more than likely I'll try and do it today. If I can't, it'll be tomorrow. I've been really under the pump with a lot of personal bookings at the moment, and I've blocked out a portion of my schedule for the Zodiac signs, and I'm hoping I can pre-record them. Otherwise, I'll be coming to you again live, and we're going to try and through this retrograde. It always happens. Mercury retrograde recording readings for the next month, that's going to be hectic, especially with the Cancerian energy coming through, because we're going to have Mercury in Cancer. So there are some common themes coming up. Now, some of you are having vertigo, some of you are having the energy of third eye headache. Now, a lot of these themes are coming through because Divine Masculine is in their third eye. Now, I do need to explain this because, you know, the process of how I come to understand a lot of this journey here has been through my own 3D experience of what I've directly seen. So the examples I share with you, even if I'm being harsh or anything to that degree, just concern between what connects to you and connect into, you know, how you can directly apply. And, you know, test the theory. There's no harm in testing theories, right? To see if you get benefits out of it. Now, I will directly say, from an observation point of view, and my clients, and through experience through my ascension process, at the moment, your headaches, your third eye, your wave of emotions that's coming through. Remember, we're the receptors, we're the feminine intuition. So when a person is tapping into that, hey, Tabarakis, you're going to feel it, right? So you get up on your feels and you go, what's going on with me? Why am I feeling so depressed? I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. Body image issues is coming up. Our eating, unusual patterns with our eating. Now, this is all going to make sense shortly when I explain to you what the devil Leo is going on. We're moving into the Cancer eclipse cycle, cycling out those nodal energies, plus the Capricorn energies. So, like I said, the hardest hit at the moment, all of us collectively are hard hit because there's collective energy with the astrology, but particular pockets of soul groups, soul mates, twin flames, zodiac signs, and these particular elements is going to be Aries, Libra, Capricorn, Cancer, Taurus, and Leo. Sagittarius and Gemini. Sagittarius and Gemini is new to the party. They've been having aspects because there has been that Capricornian energy in Jupiter. So regardless of that, and for the Taurians, yes, lots of changes happening with you guys. You guys are going to feel this energy. Any aspect of energy that you're feeling pertaining to your family, your connection, your soul tribe is coming up in a purgatory experience. All of us want to know where the heck we're going, what's coming up. You're going to be really, really gentle with yourself. Creative energy's flowing, which does indicate to me that there is a lot of scarred attraction. Now, I've got to be politically correct on here because I'm monetarised, and I don't want to take that ability away from you guys, where if you can't afford a reading and you want to do a super chat, I want that there for you. So I'm respectful towards the paradigm of medium I'm working with, and, you know, trying to take that into account. At the moment, masculines are going through a purgatory experience. Now, what is masculine energy? We've got yin and yang. Being a number 4 vibration, yeah, we're balancing yin and yang. It's like the Fool card. We've had a tower moment, January, and it was coming through October last year, and probably from 2017. So it has been pretty heavy with our transformations, with our changes in our life, with our frustration of hitting our head against the wall. And, you know, it makes perfect sense. You know, we've got lockdown energy for some, and our ego is telling us, well, if this person really cared about me, where the diddly-o are they? Yes, that's true. And believe me, right now with closing cycles, it's not just going to be directly connected to just divine feminine. And it's because if we send the intention out into the ethers that we're ready for a connection, however that be, and very much from a manifestation point of view, it should also be from the very fluid energy of being open to however that's going to come. When it does come towards you, you want it to be ripe. You don't want to be picking no sour grape energy, okay? And I know you guys feel the same. So, you know, the whole theory of patience is waiting for that cycle to close out. It's closing those doors. There are going to be old themes coming up at the moment. And, you know, you kind of get in your ego and you think, God, Venus retrograde, I'm going to hear from a blast from the past. Yes, you can. But you've got to remember during this time, it's very important to tap into what is coming up for you. So during Venus retrograde, it's your assessment of where you're going to allow relationships to come into your life. It's generally not the best time to meet a newbie, although, yes, it can still work. Anything's possible. But at the same time, it's more, okay, what are the themes coming up? Are you looking at past relationships? Are you looking at what your role was in that situation? Have you learnt lessons? What is your cup of tea when it comes down to what you will and won't endure? Healthy boundaries, I'll always articulate. If we feel disempowered and we feel if a person comes towards a twin flame and we're scared that somehow we're going to be manipulated, we're basically saying we haven't integrated that energy enough to the point where we can strongly and firmly say, I love you. But you can't, you don't actually have that power over me in that way because I am in self-mastery. It's okay to feel vulnerable. It's okay to actually dive in deep. And some of the songs that have been coming through, strong suggestion. When songs come to me, they come in different shapes and forms, and it's always very unique through any transit that you will find synchronistically male energy songwriters that embody a lot of masculine frequency are the ones to go and look at their songs. Now, let's look at Sam Smith. He has been talking about, he's a male energy, be it he's masculine, feminine, we all have both in us. He is talking about the aspect in a connection of he doesn't want to die alone. And a lot of us, in our relationships, it's like we're diving in deep and we're wanting to be there. But a lot of people, masculines in particular, if you have attachment energy and you find the one, you won't invest in them because you're scared that if they're physically taken from you, what will that mean? That fear-based frequency right now in different scenarios is being faced by the collective. It's the fight and flight. It's, okay, what's this value? Am I willing to fight for this? Am I willing to move through my fear-based frequency and say, do you know what? I'm willing to risk all, logically speaking, let's just get real. But I'm willing to actually fight fair and be open to the potential that people can change. You will know that vibration if that person's changed. But if you haven't changed, energy does shift, but you need to do the work on yourself so you're empowered. I am sensing they're purging at the moment, and I am sensing it's internalized, which is what feminines are. We're receptors, so we feel the download. And so 9 times out of 10, sometimes it's hard to pick whether it's you or them. Because you are spiritually connected, and as you go through ascension symptoms, you end up being a psychic medium. Sometimes it's hard to telepathically connect into, is this my vibration or is this theirs? Some dreams have been coming through very strangely. You might have odd people in your dreams. Scarred energy again, but it's like, hang on a minute, I didn't think of that. Well, where's that coming from? It's entering masculine's energy. Some masculines are actually thinking that you are going to cheat on them. Some masculines are, and we're all doing the energy work of deservingness. We're all looking past tense losses, hurts, betrayals, seeing things quietly. Neptune's going retrograde, really reflecting over that. You're getting my drift. Energy at the moment. If you're feeling emotional and you're purging, it's happening on the inside, but there's 3D triggers on the outside occurring to alchemize that inside masculine energy. Yours is internalization and old energy. Theirs is to a degree old energy, but it's re-triggering up that things they haven't looked at. So it's activating it. and they're viewing it through divine experiences that are occurring around them, and it's rejolting their memory system for them to directly look at that. So not necessarily is it that you haven't dealt with it, you haven't healed it, you haven't purged it. You can go, hang on a minute, like, why is this coming up for me again? Like, I've been dealing with this and I've been okay. It's because they theoretically, I've had different people jump in my dreams, and I'm thinking, I had somebody the other day message me, and I was like, I don't know where this is going. But, you know, when you're coming correct, you don't judge. You can read the frequency, and you're like, no, okay, no. And that type of girl, no. You get my gist. Dream state, same stuff happening. When you get triggered, moving back to the point of view of if it is not your circle of concern and you cannot change it, mastery of coming back down to this point, especially when things aren't making complete sense. So if you guys have been having headaches, that I'm getting a lot of seven of cups energy. With seven of cups, you get different messages. You know, different tarot readers have mentions as well. And what's coming through to me is there's 7 stages of healing. Jupiter energy would be very 7 as well. You know, it's the abundance. Our health and our mind, as above, as below. Everything's balancing out at the moment. So it's a little bit wobbly in the matrix. And where you're moving against, you know, you're detaching from attachments and you're trying to be fluid in that energy. The overload of the Gemini nodes isn't really helping things because we're trying to adjust to that overload of information. And you're needing to really get connected by getting away from people. It could be off social media just for a little bit, just to sit with your energy and see how you feel and see what's coming up and check in with yourself and say, okay, is this my energy? Is this theirs? Many of them are trying to process what they've left behind. Frustrated with certain situations, frustrated with themselves, understanding, then rational. So it's, again, an egoic experience, but ego is not a dirty word. It's I am visually trying to tune into the way I have reacted to situations, how I have potentially been manipulated, however it goes. It is directly a lot of psychoanalytical energy. Now, as for the reason this is coming up hardcore is because of Hermit mode energy that has been subjected upon many. So a lot of this intent was great movement was moving forward, and the hiccup in the journey and the kind of tripping in the road was the transition of what the collective has been going through with lockdown. So this has amplified and really forced a good viewpoint. It's a bit like being put in the naughty corner, right? We all have been put in the naughty corner energetically to sit in that vibration and correct certain things. And through that, it's helping us really, really want to let certain things go. How are we all doing? Have you been experiencing these things? Have we all been experiencing certain aspects I've been mentioning? Songs. So check masculine energies. The Weekend I absolutely love because he's the epitome of a divine masculine. He's so gorgeous. I mean, I tell you, if I was not a TF, that man I would have married. Oh, he's a beautiful soul. I'm sure he was the soul tribe in a previous life. He has a beautiful soul. I'm really in awe of his growth as a masculine energy. He's so raw and organic about where he's been, what he's done. You know, he talks about the things he's done, the toxicity, the regret in his life, and where he's travelled to now with his lyrics. You must go and listen to some of his songs. That is a statement of where divine masculine's at. Deep regret, deep reflection, knowing directly who they love, being in gratitude of, you know, your pain body experience, and, you know, it's all of those things, guys. Just have a look at a few masculine songs, and it is directly this. Why do you think we always relate to themes and songs of what's coming through? Artists are very creative energy. They do the inner child work, which is spiritual healing. It makes bloody sense. Then they're tapping into the creative forces and getting their downloads as to their imagination, their Neptunian energy. So they get the psychic downloads before us, similar to psychic mediums. Their intuition is there. Artistry is the magician energy. So it's always going to come through in the lyrics. So what happens if you're going through a breakup? All of a sudden there's all these gorgeous songs really reintegrating that you were a victim. And how dare that person do that to you? And everyone directly relates because it directly resonates. Look back in history of songs. Look back at the moment of 2012. I can tell you that there were major things going on in my life with any of the Gemini transits, and it was be it moon, so more so with the nodal energy. When I researched back, I laughed my butt off. And that was because I had met my twin flame at that time. I had major shifts happening in my life. I was really evolving and growing, and I started my awakening process back then. My psychic gift was developing back then. I moved jobs, relationships, we were friends. It was when we went into the connection, out of the connection. Each time we had that. So 2002 through 4. Then there was, and major shifts would have happened around that time. They're themes we need to be looking at right about now. Then I had 2012 and definitely 2011. So it's kind of the 2 years either side. So with that, what I found was there were transitional periods of deep changes with me around that time. And I was like, wow, man, I had my child. I, went into a relationship, went out of a relationship, met twin, changed careers. But there was always some correlating energy of a major transition. And very much your soul path is connected to you. And you're really guided to, with the work, get to a place where you're making the most beautiful life you can possibly have in the most adverse situations, but tapping into the things that make you happy to change your vibration, because alignment is everything. And you want to know that through this spiritual process, no matter what, you are picking something beautiful in your day to really, get you back down to that great vibration. You don't want to be feeling all the time that you're on rock bottom on the floor and things like that. You need to be tapping into what your power is and where your creativity is, and it really regenerates energy back to you in a very positive way. Yes, artistry. Hey, Dale, how are you? That's the second time I suddenly fell asleep when you began. God, I'm interrupting you guys, aren't I? I'm not leaving you alone today. So I've done Facebook, so if you guys haven't seen that, you can go there. With the weekend, I did share synchronistically the song with a lovely person that has been having readings with me for several years now, and she's a fellow YouTuber as well. And it was the message that come, and we were talking about these aspects, where have these things gone wrong? How is this connection? How do you get back into alignment? Why is this coming up? You have times where you won't feel the energy at all, which is very normal, and it's healthy to get to that state where you can actually tune out of it so you can tune into you. Our ego tells us that, how do I place it? Because by no means do I mean I have never sent love and light, and my intention and my vibration during that process has always been that to every person that has been involved with me. But definitely through a particular pocket of the journey, I realised to a degree, we take on roles, we put hats on. When we're being the doctor to a person, we are not having a direct connection. We are embodying that role. When we are being the victim, we are embodying that role. We are disempowered. So I really had to do some work on myself and look at it and say, okay, is my ego feeling? Because I would have a lot of these divine situations happen, and I was like, so am I an ego if I'm thinking I'm the only one that can ascend and I'm the only one that can heal myself? Now, sometimes you can have twins who are going through the most horrendous things where in traditional life, you can energetically look at that and think it's virtually impossible unless they have counseling, rehab, any of those things where it is unchangeable. Obviously, there is always, and I had a moment like that, and I was like, oh, the only thing I hadn't done was shifted all of my vibration onto me to allow that to naturally resolve itself if it was divinely guided. But I still had to, in this 3D, be okay enough to find light and happiness. So I shifted all of my energy into it is not an impossibility. Anytime I had a trigger in it, I would tune out of it and I would say, you are an ego thinking that you can ascend and this person can't. You are an ego to believe you can heal yourself and they can't. Even if we're saying they don't have the tools we have, that's not true. Because if you were at a job and you were dealing with adversity and it sucked, you cannot tell me that you wouldn't wake up to that. Okay, so it's not true. We vibrationally move into a reality of what is right and what is wrong for us. And sometimes we do need to allow that natural process to occur without us assisting or upgrading. And 9 times out of 10, there will be a correlating energy going on with us at the same time. You know? The Val. Are you pro repeat? I'm telling you. So you're wanting change, Antonella. You got 555. And I'm telling you, this month, there is so much change. It's almost warning us. Be open. Say love, okay? Let's just say this is what we're up for. This is what we're willing to have. This is what we're ushering into our life. Even if, you know, it's a bit like, how do I explain it? Because I'm sort of having visions walking through a valley. And I'm not being religious here. I am religious. I'm spiritual. You're walking in a very dark place, which is similar to Dark Night of the Soul. You're walking through it, right? And you're going, how? And you're walking. You're like, where is this light coming out of the tunnel? You just got to keep going, right? And you keep going. So the reality is there's major things, and this young bloke is walking towards me. It's so funny because I've given him a reading, and I never give any energies that are young readings. And it was so loud the other day. He came up to me again this morning. I was like, I'm sorry, man, but, you know, your God, your past over loved one, he'd be talking to me. So he thinks it's funny now. He chases me out to the car. I'm like, what? You got questions? Yeah, they were yelling at me. They're like, talk to him. And I'm like, that's against my ethics. And I was like, oh, it just kept coming. So, yes. So the 5 energy is major change. The 111, which is we're in the number 4 vibration, yeah, which is feminine, masculine, the yin and yang on either side of you. The full card, the Cancer energy of the eclipse, it's 0 degrees, which is the full card in tarot. There is infinite ways this can go. You need to be fluid. We're going to have Neptune retrograde. We're going to have Mercury in Cancer. We're going to have Vesta in Cancer. Vesta in Cancer is connecting in with feminine, fertility, us being connected in, and karmic energies and family dynamics interfering in the situation. And are they affecting the path? You know, are we sacrificing for other people? Is it necessary during that time? However it plays out, because there'll always be yin and yang, but we're getting into duality. If you're seeing all of a sudden 155, which, you know, when I tap into it, I see it, but for me, I'm not seeing those numbers anymore. More from a perspective that I purge the codependent energy of necessity of seeing them. So more so when I'm tuning into a read and an energy, I'll get that, but not as you're moving to union. When you move towards the energy of union, you will be disconnecting from requiring them, because your whole vibration will know everything as such. And my daughter will be getting in the car soon, so I have to go. So again, if you're wanting a booking, I'm telling you, June and July is going to be pretty heavy. Get in and book now. Get in and book now. I have blocked out a time for personal bookings and emergency bookings. I still have left the special there for those of you that can't afford full price. But because we're going to be having 3 eclipses back to back, it is going to be heavy. I'm not going to lie to you. There can be karmic scenarios coming up that can look very ugly, but it's to clear it out. 7 is the number of the vibration of finances, abundance. It's very Jupiter energy. It's very spiritual manifestation.
Everyone talks about you all day.
Hey, I'm on YouTube right now.
Well, everyone, you're like a new class fucking amusement. Everyone's like,
don't swearing on YouTube.
I want to get to know you, Mum. I want to get to know you, Mum.
Shh.
swear, I'm like, no, I don't think so.
This is my
Sorry.
daughter. Leave my mother alone. She's mine.
It's awkward.
Anywho,
Oh, there's no
I
food.
did say to them because I gave your friend a reading, and he was like, "Oh,
Yeah, he's shitting. Oh, yeah, you should have seen him after.
He walked past before, and he was like, "Nah." Anywho, I'm going. Okay. Book the reading if you need it, if you want to get grounded, but just be prepared. I'll give another update shortly.